So next, now you know there are 10 physical principles, 10 cognitive principles. Now you use these principles to modify any kind of work and make it ergonomically suitable for the worker. It not supposed to be a worker only, it can be anyone. You can make work easier for your maids, you can work easier for your mothers, you can make work easier for your cousins, siblings, your father who's working at home. So from today onwards, you know the principles, what is a proper position, how you should work. Go on implementing it. You will be better with practice. Only practice will make you better. Now, this is a major part of industrial therapy. Another major part of industrial therapy is job analysis. How do you analyze a job and how do you make sure the person is suitable for your job? It goes always in a flow. You have to see the job description. Have to see the job description. Then you have to see what does the job demand. It can be physical demands. The demands can be physical. The demands can be cognitive, perceptual demands. Then you have to analyze what type of task the person is doing, what type of the types of demands that are placed on the person, how they are handling it, and what does it require. Then there is ergonomic evaluation, which is basically mathematics. You can see here. Yes. Job description is usually I'm so sorry. Yes, it is written or verbal description of a job. It is basically tells you that what is the function of that job. For example, uh, if you take a clerk who's sitting on a chair and working, what is the function? To sit on a chair and to put in notes or do their work, whatever the job describes. It is the job description. Job demand analysis, it is usually the itemization of the different demands that are placed by the job. That is, it can physical, perceptual, cognitive demands. Like, for example, if there is a heavy weightlifter, if there is a manual laborer, so they have to, what will be their demand? The demand, physical demand will be that they have to lift heavy loads. Their perceptual or their cognitive demands will be they should understand that in which box they need to put the load, or on which uh, level or threshold they need to put the load, etc. Like they should understand that if they are taking say if there is a person who has to lift heavy loads of wheat bags, so not wheat, say a lot of grains, so on the wheat bag there is a picture of wheat, on rice bag there is a picture of rice, on other nuts and everything is there. So they should know कि कौन सी जगह पे क्या जाना चाहिए, तो उस हिसाब से where there is signs, they should have that perceptual capability, they should have the proper intellect to put the objects in a proper place. So that is what is job demand analysis. And then there is task analysis. How you what is a task analysis is, it you have to measure the entire frequency, the duration, the forces, etc., that are that are demanded by the job or whatever task the person is doing in the job. And then there is ergonomic evaluation. Ergonomic evaluation is mathematical analysis of any aspect of the job which is identified by job demand analysis as hazardous or risky. If you know that lifting heavy load from say a lot of kg, like 60, 70, 80, 100 kg load is very hazardous for a person with already suffering from PID, then you have to make an ergonomic evaluation which will tell you that what are the risks. It is a mathematical analysis that is done with the help of softwares. It will tell you what is the risk of a person to get injured, how you need to change it, etc. We'll see what is the use of job analysis, in which we'll see what are the uses of it. In task analysis, basically, I forgot to tell you, that it will measure everything that a person has to do. Now we took an example of a manual laborer. So maybe the person, he's taking a lot of weight, like as I said, some 100 kg weight he has to carry at once. So if he is carrying it from one place to another, what is the distance of the place, how many times he has to carry that weight. Say he is carrying 100 kgs of weight at a distance of 50 meter, but it involves climbing of stairs, it involves upslope climbing, it involves downslope running, or whatever activities he has to do should all be mentioned in task analysis. Then there are what type of forces are being placed on different parts of his body, that you should mention. This is a major part of you writing your 15 marks question, because you have to analyze. For example, if you have been given, say they'll give you a case in 15 marks, that like they usually do, that we, like last year we had a teacher is complaining of upper back pain or cervical pain. Do the task analysis. So your ICF, your evaluation will all go same, but apart from your regular musculoskeletal evaluation, you have to do this industrial evaluation or job analysis, which would include job description, job demand analysis, task analysis, and ergonomic evaluation. Basically focus on task analysis, because ergonomic evaluation you cannot do in exams. Job demand analysis and job description is simple English. uh, so that, how can you do task analysis? There are certain kind of analysis system, assessment tools, worksheet, whatever you say, different kind of forms that you can give patient to fill in, and which will help you to see your prognosis, as well as help you to understand the loads that are placed on patient. So you can just take a screenshot of this slide, you have reference. OVACO working posture analysis system will tell you about lower body and spinal working postures in different aspects of work, and it will also give you measurement of the loads that are put on different joints. Even mantra is manual task risk, so that is RISK risk assessment tool. You can just go through these sheets, and you'll understand these tools, how will they help you to analyze a task. Next. Yes. What is the purpose and application of job analysis? The worker, it helps you to match the job with the worker. As the definition of ergonomics say, it will help you to match the job with the worker. It will tell you if you require to undergo rehabilitation with the patient or not. For example, I said that if a person with already mild PIVD, suspected PIVD, you cannot allow the patient to lift heavy loads. So the patient need to undergo rehabilitation first and then go back to work, which is known as return to work, which is done after work hardening and work conditioning, which is a different aspect of industrial therapy. If I get time, I will be talking about that too later in upcoming lectures. Job modification, it will tell you that how you can modify a job. If you cannot make a person undergo rehabilitation, how you will modify a job. Like, so same example, if we take the person is suspected of PIVD, cannot bend a lot and pick up heavy loads, cannot bend a lot and pick up heavy loads. So what you can do is just give them cranes or some help, or instead of bending and picking up the load, they can use use a more uplifted platform from which you can just slide the weight, or maybe the weight is distributed in small packets, so that he just have to move from one place to other for more number of times, but he can deliver the entire thing but with lesser amount of weight. That is how it helps you to do job modification. Then reasonable accommodation. For example, if you have a lot of applications for a job. This happens with big MNCs and other industries who actually undertake industrial therapy very seriously. For example, if you have one job availability and there are many people who are applying for that job. So if you take same example, if you have heavy lifting labor work, and if the person, there are two or three people, say one is suspected of PIVD, the other two are very fit and young, so obviously you will give them more first preference as compared to the earlier. So that is how you do reasonable accommodation for your job. That is how it helps for doing reasonable accommodation for the job. And then there is training and injury prevention program. So according how we did ergonomic evaluation, which was a mathematical evaluation to see if there are any risk, and if there is, what is the intensity of the risk that the worker can um, be subjected to. It will help the company to undertake some kind of program or to conduct some kind of training program before the acceptance or before the accommodation of a worker, so that there will be less hazards during the work program. Then there is job and tool designing and redesigning. According to the ergonomic principles and job analysis, and how is the patient's cognitive, perceptual, and physical level, you can modify the tools that the person is going to use or redesign it in a better way, better ergonomic way. So that's it. I was supposed to show you ergonomic chair, or I guess I'll just, can you all see the, can you all see the page, or you cannot? Just, can you all see my screen? I mean, what I'm showing, setting up a workstation, can everyone see that?
No, ma'am.
No, right? Okay. So I guess I have a PDF. I'll just forward the PDF so that you can see that what is an ideal desk. Sorry, just let me see. No, I cannot share it here. I'll share it on the group. And what are the dimensions of the chair? How you can just deload the muscles by using what kind of chairs. So I guess that will be better. So I'll just stop sharing. If you guys have any doubt, just type in. If you people have any doubt, just type in the chat box, and it will be better if you address it to everyone and not me privately, so that everyone can see what doubts you have. Yes, no doubts. Was it so good? I don't think either you didn't understand anything or you understood everything. No? Guess you are typing. Anyone is typing? It's okay. If you go and read it, you can refer Glenda Key for it. And if you want, I'll share my PPT. You don't need to learn it. It is very simple. Use these ergonomic principles to चैतन्य पेपर में सब कुछ लिखना एक्सपेक्टेड है task analysis is the major thing that they ask. Usually task analysis is like uh, what we were asked was majorly task analysis. You can use different scales. You can mention what scales, the scales that I mentioned, you can use those to measure the posture, the loading, the force on the patient, the risk assessment of the patient. And your musculoskeletal evaluation will be same as what you do in MSK. Apart from that, you have to do your ergonomic evaluation, not ergonomic evaluation, but yes, entire job analysis, starting from job description to ergonomic evaluation. Yes, anything else? You're welcome, Chaitanya. Chaitanya. Anything else? No? So let's call it for a day. Okay. Chalo. Good evening. Enjoy. Keep studying. Is everything written to be task analysis only? No, if they ask specifically task analysis, then you have to write only task analysis. If they don't, then you have to write entire job analysis in evaluation. Is that fine, Kajol? Okay. Good evening. See you guys